welcome to the Trek Wars podcast, the one podcast that dares to answer the most important question in fandom, which is better, Star Wars or Star Trek, by going through both franchises in chronological release order. I am Kenny Madison, the Star Trek contingent, and with me, as per always, is
Aspen Webster, Star Wars contingent. Why
and
did you
today
why did
it
you say
truly
it
is.
that way, Kenny, by the way?
Why couldn't I say it that way?
You're
Why
like
not?
you're like in chronological order.
And I said it chronological order.
Chronological order.
Look, clearly you are trying to beat
Mm,
me down, but
mm,
no,
mhm.
I'm not going to lay down and die.
Yeah.
I will beat this virus and be the one which survives.
Jesus Christ. I'm like
Indeed.
okay. Sometimes I'm like, did I do a good thing by creating a segue point? The answer is yes. The answer is absolutely yes.
Speaking of absolutely yes,
Yep.
we are definitely going to be talking about these episodes from Star Trek, the original series, season 3, That Which Survives, versus Star Wars, The Clone Wars, season 1, Blue Shadow Virus. I just had one of those moments where you realize what you're doing.
Mhm.
We have almost done 100 episodes of talking about Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, 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 yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
And I think at worst, we're going to have some opinions about these episodes.
At
What do you think,
worst.
Aspen?
I think at best, it might have been a little like, well, dang, didn't hate that. Guess which
Oh,
one?
oh.
Like, almost like, I mean, yeah, kinda into it sort of vibes, you know? Like, pretty cool. Pretty okay. Pretty okay. But did you not feel this way? Wait, did you not like the okay, wait, did you not like these episodes?
Aired January 24th, 1969. A story by Michael Richards. Huh, interesting. That's a weird name. Teleplay by John Meredith Lucas, directed by Herb Wallerstein, a notorious director that hopped in on the Thalia Web. From Judy Crosby in her syndicated TV Scout column, the synopsis goes. The scenic special effects once again take over on Star Trek, and they make up for an endless confusion in the script. A landing party from the Enterprise investigates a strange planet that seems to have been created in a nightmare.
Oh.
The only inhabitant is a lovely and dangerous girl who is guarding her homeland while her people return from a long journey. The Merryweather is the deadly lady.
The Catwoman.
The Catwoman herself.
The
We've got two
Catwoman.
Batman villains in the past 4 weeks, four
That's
episodes.
right. That's right. Both bringing their own special jazz.
And both extremely attractive.
Attractive. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah. This is actually one of the first times that I was like, man, they really nailed that makeup and that color palette. She looks great in that pink.
Oh, are you talking about her by lighting eyeshadow?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Everyone should just wear blue and pink slash purpley kind of red. Everyone, you
Excuse
should wear
me.
blue and pink. You should,
Excuse me. Look at my
yeah.
room.
I
Look at my
love,
room.
I love it. I love it.
Look at my room.
No, yeah, you are beautifully lit in the by
It's
lighting.
not it's not exactly by.
Yeah, it's a little big, but you know what? Your eyeshadow's making up for it. So,
Thank you. And you can see my eyeshadow at youtube.com/at Trek Wars Pod. Subscribe over there. Aspen,
ah,
would you care to read the synopsis for Star Wars The Clone Wars?
yep. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the Blue Shadow Virus, released February 13th, 2009. I think I'm sleepy. I'm like, and then the Blue Shadow
Aspen,
Virus.
it's
Yeah,
8:30 where you are.
I don't know, man. I'm just a little sleeping boy, you know. I woke up this morning. Wait, sorry, before I read this. I was definitely like, I went to sleep at a normal time last night, like early even. And I woke up at like a normal time and I went, no, 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 no. And I went back to sleep. So I'm gonna read this. Oh, wait, first I'm gonna say, wait, why did you say what was the name that you said that name's weird on Star Trek? You,
Michael Richards.
why'd you why'd you say that?
We'll get into it.
Okay. Okay, well, in this case, the director of the episode is Giancarlo Volpe. Phew, that's very Italian.
Pretty normal name to me.
All right. And then on this one specifically, it's written by Craig Titley and Jen Klein did the script. So
When was it
fabulous.
released?
February 13th, 2009.
Hell,
Evil scientist Dr. Nuvo Vindi is recreating the dreaded blue shadow virus in his secret underground lab on Naboo. When he captures Senator Amidala and Jar Jar Binks, Anakin and Obi-Wan mount a rescue operation, and Ahsoka and Rex and a bomb squad. And also that cool Gungan lady whose name was Peppy.
Peppy Bo.
Peppy Bo! She had her ears back in a sorry, we'll get into it, but they
We'll get
in
into it.
her character design of, like, making a Lady Gungan, they, you remember from Space Jam when they did Lola Bunny and they turned Bugs Bunny, like, they were like, "How do we make a hot bunny?" And they, like, make it so that, like, she can, like, pull her ears back like a ponytail.
Yeah.
And that's what happens here.
Well, Dave Filoni famously says,
It are you gonna play something?
Sexy Gungan.
He also says, I love a hat." It's so funny that
"Really?
he's
Really?
so funny that I'd like a character with a hat.
I had no idea that Dave Filoni liked hats. It's not. He has never once put a character in a hat or a helmet.
Star
Not
Wars is helmets.
Star Wars is helmets, indeed.
Sexy Gungan.
No, he did say that, and they were
That's a
that's a
cursed
quote.
sound clip, by the
It's
way.
horrifying. They straight up are just like, and she's
Sexy Gungan.
lady,
Sexy Gungan lady.
lady.
Uh,
Bebo. Mhm.
before we move on, we've
Uh-huh.
got some correspondence.
Oh my god. Oh my
I know,
god.
right?
Oh my god, people wanna talk to us. They wanna say hello.
Uh, from Austin Aaron,
Cute.
happy HHM. What is HHM?
HHM, hot to
Hot,
go.
horny
Horny month.
month.
Hot.
Happy hot horny month to you.
Happy hologram holocron month.
I personally, Aspen, I'm going to go with happy
Mm.
hot
Horny
horny month.
month. I feel really worried about not knowing this. HHM,
Certainly. Hello, Perceptive Podcast peoples.
I don't know.
Kenny, we are starting to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine in my household. Hey, that's wonderful. I'm really impressed by the joke structures and ensemble building, less impressed by the season one sexism. How do you think the show holds up after 11 years? Do you think Star Trek ages quicker or slower than comedy? Comedy definitely ages faster than uh than Star Trek. Star Trek is dealing with themes, questions, seem basic to human existence. But also, I'm completely unbiased because I Star Trek has existed for me since before I even had memories. So I'm like, yeah, this just looks like now. What are you talking about? Aspen?
Hmm. Oh, um, yeah, I think, comedy shifts quickly. Um, I think comedy it as we become more aware of what we are punching down or punching up to, and we are thinking kind of more holistically, yeah, comedy is going to shift and change. I was just thinking about that because I was like, when's the last time I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine? And I don't think it was, I didn't watch it as it was coming out. It was only a few
No.
years ago. And I don't recall feeling particularly frustrated, more probably just like, meh, which is a very different experience than, like, say, watching Friends and being like, I can't get past, I cannot watch this show anymore. Like, I just cannot even watch it.
Yep.
But then I think about like A Blazing Saddles, which I actually think has certain jokes that are nah, but like as a general movie, like is truly still works in every single way because it is coming from very much the perspective. It is centered and focused on the story of a marginalized person and someone who is in full support of that black man and is treated with a kind of kindness that I think is, and it's, yeah, so like the jokes of like the engagement of these differences are of like race and what that looks like, and the bad guys are the shitty racist guys, these white guys. Anyway, I think about Blazing Saddles a lot because people use that as like, we could never make that this day, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
it's a
you
dog
fucking could.
whistle.
Shut up, like you're good, and actually
Mhm.
you should, honestly, like these are the stories, right? It's more, well, not more racist. It's just it is more dangerous to act in a colorblind way. Like anyway, because we are addressing true systemic injustice. All that to
Uh,
say,
Speaking of addressing more things,
uh huh,
Aspen.
uh huh.
I am 150 hours into Baldur's Gate 3. That sounds like a nightmare.
Oh my god! Wait, is this still Aaron?
Yeah, this is still Aaron.
Oh god, incredible.
That sounds like a nightmare.
No, it's not.
Why would you play a game for 150 hours?
I would if I could. I've
Uh,
actually gotten to the point with Baldur's Gate where it used to be because I just wasn't a video game player. So
mhm.
I was like, oh, I've been sitting here too long. I'm too stressed out. Now I'm like, if it weren't midnight, I would keep playing this game. I would keep playing
Well,
it
Aaron says,
forever.
as a big D&D nerd, I am enthralled by the scene combat and gameplay translated so well and disappointed by not being able to say whatever I want during the character interactions.
I know.
Who's your main crew? I'm Lazel, Shirt, Will, and a monk. Who's your main ship? Lazel is Basil.
What just names did you just
I don't know. Aspen, I'm just reading the question.
it is can I
I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 and I'm never going to because I think video games for dorks.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. I'm gonna actually read the email. Lazel, Shadowheart, Will, and a monk is what he said. Okay.
What's her name? Shart?
Shadowheart. He just wrote S Heart. Lazel, Shadowheart, Will, and he is a monk.
That's
He
not
is playing.
helpful.
He
Austin
is
Aaron,
playing
you
as a
know that
monk.
I'm going to be the one that's reading the email.
It's okay. I can get into
Lazel, Shirt,
lay out lay
Will, and a monk.
Lazel. Lazel.
Lazel.
Basil.
Basil.
Oh yeah. Who's my main ship? So he means my ship. Oh my god. It's my character in Shadowheart. That's who my ship is.
Who's your
I
character?
my character. So I really love D20, Dimension 20 on Dropout Television. And
Hmm.
there's a character that Zach Oyama plays in Fantasy High called Gorgug, and Gorgug is a half orc barbarian. And I think, yeah, I think he's a barbarian. Yeah, he's a barbarian. That's what. So yeah. Anyway, and there's like a funny bit where there's like a high elf who's another character's grandfather who just cannot say his name and calls him Georgiage. So my character is a half orc bard though, which is fun because we love a giant hulking half orc who also plays a little lute and has really high charisma. And their name is Georgiage. So that's fine. And I tried so hard to woo Shadowheart and I succeeded. I succeeded. She's a sticky, sticky cat.
What do you think that says about you, Aspen?
I really was into her. Also, Karlak is a great character because she's basically just like a toppy dommy, like sort of like lesbian type of vibe, and you feel like you want to see her with like a cigar. Anyway, she rules. See her
Speaking
with
of Toppy
anyone.
Doming,
Uh-huh.
Austin Aaron explains what HHM means to us two white people.
Oh,
Happy
he's
Hispanic
oh
Heritage
my
Month.
fucking god. What assholes.
Which Star franchise do you think has done a better job representing Hispanic folks? Easy question, Andor.
Yeah, I think if we're talking franchise, either Star Wars or Star Trek, well, let's see.
It's Star Wars because
Because there's
you have
Andor
Cassian
and Rogue
Andor.
One and
I
um
think uh, Latinx representation in Star Trek has been pretty darn poor.
I think
You got Rios and Picard, which, to be fair,
yeah,
oh, now
and
I'm thinking about that. Rios is the
um
coolest character in Star Trek.
and you also have I know she's like what's the character from Voyager?
Balana Torres.
Yeah, Torres, Belana Torres.
That show Voyager seems more interested in interrogating her Klingon
Her
side
Klingon
than
side. But I mean, from if like I am not
you don't need to
Latina,
interrogate identity
like, but
necessarily.
I do wonder if there is I'd be curious what her perspective is, like if there's like a parallel there of like this stereotype of like Latino women being like loud or kind of like in your face. Like it's a general sort of like perspective of women of color too, right? That they're kind of put this way, like fiery. And I wonder if there could be any relationship between like what does it look like to be
Yeah.
someone who's like perceived this way in the world.
Yeah.
And that's really valuable. Obviously like Robert Beltran is playing an indigenous person and he's not indigenous but he himself I think is Hispanic. But yeah, I'm with
Just me.
you. I'm with you that like if I were to like kind of soar through them all, the very existence of Andor. And when we talk to our friends, I remember talking to Aaron Salinas once and we were like, we're not really big Rogue One fans. Oh, I don't know if you were there. I remember talking to Aaron Salinas about this.
No, I mean I've had this conversation with Aaron Salinas as well.
Of like, he was
Against this
like,
episode.
it's like, we're not like Rogue One fans. And he's just like, listen, I don't care. My dad watched that movie and was like, there we are on screen. So,
And now,
yeah,
Aaron Salinas gets to have the best Star Wars
Andor.
period with Andor.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, best is
So,
of course subjective.
yeah,
But like Andor rips.
yeah.
What do you want from me?
Apologies for thinking HHM in the perspective of it must do with a Star Wars or Star Trek, and as opposed to it just being a thing that is true. It's the last day that we're recording. It's the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Personally, like a good white person, I blame Austin Aaron for not educating us.
Exactly. It was your responsibility as the Latino man, the Hispanic man. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Austin Aaron. Please keep those emails coming in. And if you too want to send an email, send it in to trekwarspod@gmail.com.
Incredible. Also, by the way, I didn't answer this. I'm playing it with Joel. I'm playing it, so the main crew is my character George Judge, his character, my partner Joel.
Sexy Gungan.
His character, who is like a halfling fighter, I think. Karlak usually and Shadowheart usually. So anyway, I'm done. I'm done. That was a long conversation. I enjoyed it.
Great.
I guess we should talk about the episodes. Should we?
Absolutely.
Should we? Or should I just go to sleep and take a nap?
Negative, because we're this far in. We did the research. We've done the work. Now let's try and answer the most important question in fandom: which is better, Star Wars or Star Trek? By talking about these two episodes. First impressions.
I liked the Star Wars
Both
one
of these
more.
episodes suck.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, the Clone Wars.
They are bad.
The Clone Wars episode is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's real bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
real bad.
It's not bad.
It's bad.
It's not bad.
It's disastrous.
It's not disastrous.
It's bad.
What
Blue Shadow Virus is bad.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? The Jar Jar antics. Okay. Once. Okay. It's charming. It's refreshing.
Okay.
Cool. Great.
It happens once. It only happens once. It only happens once.
We have had 3 episodes with Jar Jar. And I hope that all of those balloons carry over. You can see that over the youtube.com/@trekwarspod. We've had 3 episodes with Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
And it is infuriating because in the other 2 episodes he was kind of competent. No, not here.
Yeah.
Abhorrent.
Well, he's the one that leads them to the place where it's being developed.
Sure. Great. Wonderful. By accident, because he's hungry for a bug.
He still did it. His accidental competency is his bag.
Why couldn't he just have not engaged in Jar Jar antics and instead just have been a competent character?
Kenny, because that's not Jar Jar.
Oh my gosh. He is in episode 2, he does not engage in antics. even though he's barely there. And well, I guess he engages in the ultimate antic by giving Palpatine emergency powers, but at least he doesn't knock down bookshelves.
That's what happens. When he's competent, he fucks up. When he's
You fuck up.
incompetent, when he's incompetent, he does a great job. That's what happens when you try to make him who he is not.
And then Aspen,
Kenny.
look, we've talked about the problematic racial dynamics of Jar Jar Binks, as well as so many other Star Wars podcasts and just culture in general.
Mhm.
Jar Jar Binks is an offensive character.
Okay.
You know, he's an offensive character. And then you bring in Peppy Bo.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
They carry over the same cadence
Yeah.
that Jar Jar Binks speaks. Meanwhile, we have demonstrations of other Gungans that don't participate in the minstrel dialogue that is given to Jar Jar Binks. And it is abhorrent.
No,
It is
I don't think that's true. I think
it's definitely
they all have the same speech patterns.
they have the same, but in that same screechy timbre.
Well, they're like, "Where she's a lady."
She's not just a lady.
Sexy Gungan.
I think at this point, I have to tell you, I am okay with Jar Jar Binks just getting to be a character.
You're a nightmare.
I my dude, I am like mostly I'm sort of just like neutral on his existence. And likely what's happening is they keep this is like what we were talking about with Patrick, that they keep kind of doing Padme a disservice by pairing her with him constantly because it's
Oh
like
my
so it means
gosh.
it's like when when you're doing an improv show and you wanna kinda be a little bit of a goof, but, like, you can't because someone's being too goofy, so you're like, "I guess I gotta be the grounded one in this," which is like, "Okay, you gotta do your part and be a good player, but, like, could have been fun to goof around a little bit, but I guess I'm serious now."
Yes.
And, like, that's what Padme has to be because he's so goofy, and
Sure.
so she doesn't get to have as much fun maybe and be a little bit more like, she gets to
Why
mostly just be like, "Adventure girl."
why not let Jar Jar be a person? Why not?
Um
Why not just let Jar Jar be a person?
He has for what it's worth, he has, like he does the dumb dumb thing with
Yeah.
the bug in this. That's the last thing he does in this that is dumb dumb. He's fairly competent the rest of the time. I actually had a little bit of a moment where I was like, "Oh, no, is he gonna, like, fuck something up so bad? He's gonna, like, put up a bomb?" And I was like, "No, they're actually taking it seriously." Basically, what it just the only thing that happens is, like, he, by virtue of his nose, is able to find Rabbit Droid, and that's kinda it, and mostly he's just, like, there to be there. There's a funny bit with Peppy Bo where she, like, hits him with a stick, and you know what? I like physical comedy, so it works.
That's great. I love physical comedy too.
Yeah, I think they're kind of
It is
showing a foil also of, like, her being very capable versus his little goofness. I'm just glad that they weren't like, "Misa in love," or something stupid like that.
because she is pink.
She
Because of
is
course she is.
Sexy Gungan.
make no mistake, her ears are pulled back in a ponytail, she's wearing a hat, and she is a sexy Gungan lady. I don't hate her. She's, like,
Oh
clearly
boy.
wants to help. She watches
It's a
all of her tick cows die, and it's devastating, and she just wants to help, and she's very capable.
it's bad. It's a
It's great.
bad episode.
No, there's parts of the episode where I was genuinely like, "Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm so worried.
That's
Oh,
because
no."
that's because you feel with the full spectrum of the
There
emotions that are
there
given to you.
there were
Meanwhile,
points
I'm
where I was
watching
like
this and
this.
I've thrown 4 TVs out of my window because it is this episode was a pain to watch.
Oh
It
my
was so
god.
hard.
I am so surprised. It's not like it's as good as any of the others, but it for certain is not bad.
It's
Like,
bad.
it's okay, so you didn't like Jar Jar, what else didn't you like?
Peppy Bo,
Okay, I loved her.
intolerable.
Incredible.
Dr. Vindy was a lot.
I loved him so
That's
much.
great.
Yes, 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 yes,
Sure.
yes. Who's the guy what's that
But I'm
actor? He's
also just
Basil
I'm
in
yes,
Austin Powers, and the way he
Michael York from Cabaret in Logan, from Logan's Run. He turns 30 and has to do carousel.
the way that he plays that part is genuinely, like, the most unhinged former Nazi, and I'm into it.
And also, just like it's a freaking virus. That's boring.
It's not.
It's boring.
Every single. Are you kidding me? Every single time that vial almost
Also,
broke,
why
I
doesn't
freaked
Anakin just?
out.
Why don't the Jedi just use the Force to grab every sample and just put it in their little belt?
That's fair. There's all yeah. They should have just done it. You're right. You're right. That would have been an easy. They could have just taken his stupid little briefcase of files.
But
But with
lest you
the
think
bombs, they had to make the
they
bombs
can use the
to
Force,
do what?
lift them,
And do what with them?
throw them up in the
Where?
sky.
It's airborne. The whole point is he turned the virus from waterborne into airborne.
They can dig some holes.
Then it gets into the water system.
Dig the holes far away.
Kenny! 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 No! It's an airborne virus. Do you remember when we had to deal with an airborne virus? And we
Yeah, it was
still
a
do?
nightmare.
It's scary. Maybe I watched it with that thought. I'm just like, imagine if just like a whole bunch of like COVID that could kill you immediately was like right there about to get out and kill everybody on Naboo.
But lest you think that my fury is just relegated to blue shadow virus, so too do I hold that which survives in contempt as being
Yeah.
a boring, sleepy episode that I want to talk mystery box. I want to talk mystery box.
We
Knock
can.
it off.
I have to tell you something. I also didn't hate it.
What is wrong with you?
You know what it reminded me of? I think I'm giving it a little too much credit because it
Yeah.
reminded me of do you remember the DS9 episode, The Sound of Her Voice?
Yes. A great app.
An extraordinary episode of television that this is nowhere near, but
No.
like kind of reminded me of it. And then I got sad and it made me fonder of this episode.
Interesting, fascinating, wonderful. I don't think that those two things are connected in the slightest.
Very much were in my mind.
Aspen, you're a fan of mysteries.
I love them.
You are in the Jessica Fletcher Club.
God, we're in season 5. It's so good.
But you just love mysteries in general, murder mysteries,
Love 'em. Love
solving
them.
mysteries.
You hate them.
I do, yes. Even though I do own Knives Out
The best
in
movie.
4K,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful
Yeah.
because it steals its structure for Columbo, which makes me like. As soon as I watched that, I was just like, "What is the new tension?" And just from a narrative perspective, as I was fascinated by it, and then turns out he stole it from Columbo, and I was like, "Genius!"
I
Ryan
mean,
Johnson is God.
steal it or, adapt to borrow from your heroes.
Yeah, it's not like he's stealing the character of Columbo.
I mean, until Poker Face. He didn't steal it. But
Mhm.
every time she did come into a room, she's just like, and one more thing. I was like, I love her.
Yeah. So this episode is bad.
Okay. Okay.
And it uses mysteries to add the illusion of interest
Sure.
as opposed to what was initially planned, which was what's frustrating whenever you read what was initially planned, which was kind of like it wasn't great, but it was
Mhm.
better than I think what we got.
Mhm.
Because instead of just one lady walking up to the boys on the planet and touching them and making their cells explode, which to be fair, if Lee Merriweather walked up to me and was just like, "I am for
I
you,"
I
my
have
cells would explode.
I have to touch you. I'd be like, "Me?
Me?
Wow.
Is it me?
Is it me you're looking for?"
Um,
So it wasn't just one woman?
yes, it was the planet. And there was not one central enemy. It was the planet kind of trying to force the Enterprise crew back onto the ship and being it was a roundabout way of commenting on property ownership.
Environmentalism? Oh, okay.
Um,
If it were like the environment being like, "Get the fuck off me," that
a
might
little
be
bit of that
a little like The Happening.
as well. Should we talk about the happening?
Should
Should we
we talk
rebrand as
about
the happening podcast?
just The Happening over and over and over again?
Oh boy.
Every single episode, we just rewatch The Happening.
We could split it into like a minutes by minute podcast where we talk about the happening 1 minute at a time.
No, only all or nothing.
Well, we would be talking about all of it. We're just covering each minute, and then whenever we finish those minutes, start again.
Oh, okay. I see. You're finding a way to okay. But I'm thinking an hour and a half every week.
Though there is the Death Bible, the Paul Blart Mall Cop podcast that releases one episode that the McElroy brothers do every Thanksgiving.
That's fun. We
It
just
is
do that.
pretty fun. Unlike this episode.
Yeah. So, private
Talk to
property and
me.
capitalism?
Hmm?
Private property and capitalism?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was not one central enemy. It was kind of the planet
All right.
rebelling.
Okay.
But eventually it got boiled down to this one lady
Howdy.
because they wanted a personification of the thing,
A woman.
a woman.
Woman.
And I think it just doesn't work
Mhm.
at all.
Mhm.
And then the
Yeah.
stuff on
Doesn't make any
board
sense.
the ship, it's not going. If you're like we said last episode, if you're bothering not to talk about themes,
Uh-huh. Then be interesting at least.
then be interesting. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about the good tenets of like effective mysteries, because
Oh.
I think because this episode talks about the mystery, made me want to talk about the mystery box
Mhm.
and how the mystery box can be used to generate excitement, but
Mhm.
also ultimately can end up hollow if not executed correctly.
Yeah. And this isn't executed correctly.
Yeah.
Well, um I don't know. I can only speak for me personally.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there is obviously like an excitement. I think with the mystery, you like to guess what it could be. Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to have all perfect strings leading to answer because I don't need it to perfectly explain itself in the end. That's a personal Aspen thing, but I like to be able to see some things and I like to be able to
Mhm.
notice. I think the surprise of the thing is great. I do think guessing is kind of a joy of it. So sometimes when it's like it's not like you have to be right, but if like the answer is so far off from anything that even could have been, like it can feel frustrating like you just pulled that out of nowhere. Like, we're smart. The best mysteries treat their audience as smart and interested and excited. So yeah, I will forgive a Sherlock Holmes being like, well, it was this type of tobacco. And I'm like, of course I wouldn't have known that.
Knives Out and Glass Onion treats its audience as
Mhm.
incredibly smart. In
Incredibly
Knives
smart.
Out, pulls a Columbo
Mhm.
and explains the mystery. Then the tension completely transforms. And then there's another mystery that reveals itself over the course of the film. So you still get the delicious payoff of a whodunit.
Mhm.
And it
Yes.
totally makes sense. And then Glass Onion really tries something. I'm not entirely sure that it succeeds, but it really tries. And I think that that is cool.
I think it's cool. I didn't like as a
And
little
then Poker Face is a blast and
yeah.
not really a whodunit, but a why done it.
A white done it. Yeah.
And that's
I
I mean, those are the only things that I can explain.
and
You're
then
you're the person that watches Murder
I
She Wrote.
I directed a murder show, and what I told everyone was the things don't actually have to always match up in the end. What has to matter the most in this, the most important things are you have compelling characters that believe in something and relationships that are interesting. And then everything will fall into place. So that
And this episode doesn't really have any interesting relationships.
I mean, it kind of does.
And then the please explain.
Well, I think what we're running into for me right now is
Hmm.
the sort of
Is that
depths of
I'm too right this week?
I will grind you to a pulp. No. No, it's like the awful deadness of season 3 of Star Trek where sometimes any little thing can feel extraordinary.
Hmm.
And I felt so thrilled that Sulu was there getting to do something. I don't know if that like did
Truly.
something for me. And
Uhura got something.
Uhura got
Sulu
something,
got
Estes to do.
something.
And
So
also
frustrating.
the McCoy Spock relationship was very interesting for me.
We got Mabanga.
and we got Mabenga. We got a bunch of people getting to do interesting things that I hadn't got to see do things in a while, and so it felt a little like a drop of water in the desert, and I got really excited.
I understand that. Yeah.
I just liked it. I didn't like the way that Kirk was treating Sulu, like, all of his ideas were
Oh my
stupid. I
gosh.
was like, "What are you
Sulu
doing?"
presenting solutions to what the heck is going on in Kirk, that being kind of like first season Kirk, was he's a little bit of a killjoy.
Yeah, and Spock's also kind of being a little intense too up on the ship.
I
It's
think
like
Spock's being a little stinker, trying to
he's
add some levity.
he's being funny. It's actually genuinely funny things that he would say.
Yeah,
Like, he'd
because
take
Spock
he
has
was
a sense of
he
humor.
was pulling a, like but he was almost pulling a sort of, like, neurospicy-esque, like, "I take everything literally," kind of thing, and you're just like, "Dude, you've been around humans a
Oh,
while. You got
dude,
this. You're half human. Get over it."
dude,
But
come
it
on.
did feel I was there's just there were moments, especially near the end, when I felt like there were things that we were seeing too, like, we were getting to see McCoy do something heroic, and it was truly scary, like, the kind of the risk, the stakes felt particularly high in a way that I was, like, surprised by. I was like, "I don't think I know we're not gonna explode." However, like, he's in a dangerous space. He is literally saying, "If this does not work, jettison me." And little crack moments, little cracks in the, like, Spock's sort of his the way that he presents himself as being so logical, so by the book, and
Mhm.
then it's like, we counted down to 1, and it should be that you make the choice, but you actually do believe in McCoy
That was a pretty good
because
moment.
you do have hope, you do love him, like, and you know he can do this. Also
You're
reversing
talking
the
about Scotty,
polarity.
whenever Scotty is trying to
With
reverse the
Scotty, yeah.
polarity.
I kept saying McCoy, I'm so sorry, I meant Scotty, yeah.
Sure.
Sorry. Makoya, Scottish name.
Because the ship
Scotty.
is warping through space and it keeps increasing,
Yeah,
because whenever Losira, played by Lee Merriweather, popped onto the ship in the teaser to be like, "Don't go down there,"
yeah.
she accidentally reversed the polarity of a doodad on the ship and made the warp go faster.
It made it reverse
And
the
Scotty was like, "The
polarity.
ship's gonna explode," and Spock is like,
No?
"What if you? What if it did?"
What if you stopped it?
Much like Richard Grinder in The Grinder, he asked, "What if it didn't?"
What if it I think that their little
What a
character
what a great
I never
evergreen
never
reference that I just made.
I I
Talking about
agree.
The Grinder.
I agree, we all know about that. Um, I just think there were, like, really valuable little character moments. I liked Sulu getting like, he almost gets killed, and it's, like, terrifying, like, his shoulder gets touched, and what does that mean? And, like, I don't know, just even if I didn't really like the Kirk treatment, I liked him.
Yeah, but it's just frustrating whenever your central mystery consists of one action
Mhm,
that
mhm.
doesn't
Doesn't make
reflect
sense.
doesn't reflect character, doesn't
Yep,
reflect
yeah,
relationships, doesn't reflect
yeah,
themes. It is
a woman.
a woman
Just appearing out of nowhere over and
being
over again.
going, "I am for you,"
Yep,
killing 3 crew members in the exact same fashion.
yep, there's nothing special about it.
There's
You're right.
and it I wrote in my notes, this is like a 10-minute episode stretched out, because there's just not. And this is where I think if you had just moved up the central mystery
Mhm.
and just solved it much quicker, get through that real estate so we can explore something.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's like, up a computer that was supposed to do something is, like, confused because that's all it's ever like, because the whole for those who have not seen it, yeah, she keeps popping in, being like, "I am for you," touching people and exploding all their cells and
Whenever
disrupting
she
them,
can't touch them, she turns two-dimensional and folds away.
which is cool.
It's a very cool
It's a
effect.
very cool effect. She can hop up onto the ship, which is 900 light years away. She can hop back down. And it's that she is the computer's manifestation, or it's like its way of trying to keep people off of the planet
Because there's a virus
because there's a
and
virus.
it killed everyone on the fake planet. It's also a
Um,
fake planet.
it's a fake planet. That is revealed kind of
There's lots of
through.
hats on hats that aren't explored.
Right. Like, they don't really explore that until they just kind of are like, "Wait a second, I think it might be this." That's why, like, the rock can't be, like, burnt or disintegrated.
That
Um,
what does that say about anything?
yeah, and then ultimately they get down to it, and it's just another computer that's like, "I'm trying to do my duty," and, like, I'm using her image because that's the only recorded image I have to use, so, and I what it should have done, you're getting to a good point, is it should have dug more into, like, imagine w I mean, we've had a lot of these computer malfunctions type of thing, like, we're fucking done. What's hilarious about this one is that you just broke the computer by just shooting it. It didn't take, like, a whole thing this time. But, because in that last, like, 10 minutes, right, they're they're sort of reflecting on, because you then see her message that she's recorded, like, this kind of clearly, like, strong, smart, like, thoughtful leader who just wants to keep people safe. And so imagine if you had done sort of like whatever the equivalent of like a like the sound of her voice had been, where it's like, what if, because there's so much of her inside what this planet computer is putting out there, you get to interact with her more and actually truly be with her and, explore the idea of what it is to be human. And then maybe this like computer representation itself starts to be like sad for the loss of, like you can see that being an engaging sort of thing.
Also, if the woman is a planet, which is Dave Filoni's favorite idea, if the whole planet was one woman, it also could bring up to mind what is the nature of existence, where
Mhm.
Kirk and company define existence as you got five fingies on each hand, five
Fingies,
toes, you feel
toesies.
this, and then you have this character who is locked into this facsimile of
Mhm.
a human, but is
Mm,
able to experience a breadth of emotion.
right.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's not that. Also, the central conceit of a landing party and then the ship is just thrown away, uh, almost a
Keeps
thousand
happening.
light years. That's a great enough premise on its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. It's happened before, but, it's especially if Sulu is there and that excitable biologist.
Yeah. You don't have to, there's no vegetation there.
Yep. Well,
There's,
there is, but it's all poisonous.
sure. Thank you for the correction. I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome. Who is the Star Trek expert now?
It's you, Aspen.
I remembered that they said that because Sulu said it, and I love him.
Um, but all the vegetation is poisonous. There's nothing to sustain them, and they have to wait for the Enterprise.
Mhm.
The episode could literally just be a character piece of them on a planet figuring out how to survive. A
Sure.
great character based episode.
Sure.
And they throw in a mystery because. And this notably made Michael Richards never want to work on Star Trek, the original series, ever again.
Really?
Hmm.
Why?
Why? Because the episode under Fred Freiberger and his go to co writer, Michael Richards was definitely unimpressed with it and no longer wanted to be involved with it because they weren't interested in exploring themes. They were just
I
kind of
see.
focused on getting a script
Right.
done. That and another episode that Michael Richards worked on in the future.
Yeah. I don't know why I wasn't mad at it.
You're not familiar with Michael Richards' previous work?
Uh-oh. I don't know. You have to tell me, Kenny.
You might be familiar with
Oh god.
Amok Time.
Oh,
Well, that's Theodore
Jesus.
Sturgeon.
Okay. Okay.
You might be familiar with Journey to Babel.
Okay. Right,
Some
right,
more
right.
Spock centric episodes, The Enterprise Incident.
Yeah. So good episodes. Like
Great
really good,
episodes.
great episodes with like a lot of really interesting themes and character relationships. This is a very empty, emotionally empty episode. And
Yeah,
I'm still sitting here being like, why wasn't I, by no means am I like this is a good or great episode, but it's not like a I hate this episode, or it's not like a I don't I it's not like I'm not gonna go as far so far as to call it bad, but
I will.
and I'm trying to figure out why though. And I wonder if I'm actually affected by the ending, which is a little bit like an info dump.
That's a pretty good ending, but also you're exactly right. It's the entire episode. And it's not really emotionally resonant to me.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it could just be the sort of like, "Ah, what joy to see my best friends. Where have you been? Why haven't you had speaking roles for so long?"
So, anyways, the treatment of this episode made Dorothy Fontana never want to work on the original series ever again.
Wait, what? Her too?
She's Michael Richards.
Oh my god. Oh, I feel sick. I feel sick.
How wild would it be if you vomited just because of that
I
information?
feel, like, uncomfortable in my
Yeah,
body. I mean, I'm surprised. I thought that she was already outie.
she was out and also still got 4 episodes. She was contracted to write 4 episodes for Star Trek. Um,
It's so funny. I thought you were just talking about some dude, and I did not
nope.
care. And now you're talking about DC Fontana, and I'm like,
Yeah.
my
And
my dream girl.
yeah.
If this hurt her, then
And so,
I'm you know what? I hate it. I hate this
yeah,
shit. I hate this episode. There's nothing good about this episode, nothing good in the world.
yeah,
I hate it. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. If it
that's right.
hurt my girl,
That's right.
I'm done.
Dorothy Fontana wrote the Enterprise incident quite famously. And then she was under contract to write 3 others. Uh, where are they? The Enterprise incident. A script called Joanna, which we will get to. And I can't find what the other one
And
was.
so she was like, as you're looking for that, she was genuinely like, this is not the show that I
Yeah.
worked on and that I've done this before. This is just, at this point, we're just, what is art?
And
We're
yeah,
just
and
pumping shit out.
another episode called Van Boat's Robots, which didn't move on. So she was contracted for 4 episodes.
Sure.
Uh, the Enterprise incident, pretty much, she's credited on it.
Right.
So, and then wrote this one and another episode called Joanna that gets turned into The Way to Eden, and
Okay.
we will talk about that one later. Anyways,
So
yeah,
what is it about so she wrote it. Clearly they fucked it over.
yeah.
What
She
was
was
that?
not pleased with the direction that Fred Freiberger was taking Star Trek
Yeah.
and asked to be released from her contract,
Uh-huh.
which makes sense because we've gone from
Yeah. Do it, bro.
Gene Roddenberry, uh, John D.F. Black as the initial showrunner, Gene Kuhn, John Meredith Lucas. John Meredith Lucas is credited on the teleplay
Mhm.
and tries to preserve what he can, but it just kind of gets stripped out because of just getting notes, and they're not really so worried so much as they're like, we have to have a script to shoot because it's hard to make a Star Trek,
Sure.
which I can't really fault them on that one. Um,
Oh, at least they got a planet this time.
they did get a planet. Not only that, like the planet shakes.
It was cool.
It was cool. I was like, this is the notoriously $12 budgeted season 3. This feels like a lot. We got not only that, but we got like an engine set where they're
Oh,
messing with the antimatter
buzz.
picture,
Yeah,
something
and
like
I'm
that.
coming back to it, and I'm like, it's an episode. Not to direct us away from it again, but I'm still trying to sit here and be like, what is your vibe, Aspen? I think it is like, well, if I'm not going to get something intellectually interesting, at least I'm getting some fun little set pieces that do give me individual character work,
Hmm.
and like dynamism that I feel like I've been kind of desiring.
Yeah.
So it does have a kind of fun little feel to it in a way that I haven't gotten to experience in a while, and maybe I'm extending a fondness to it for that purpose because it is a
Hey,
really cool little engine room. Like also reversing the polarity on his little wrench. I don't. It just basically
it
took the.
gets it gets
It
stuck.
gets stuck.
His
He
little
just
tool
his
gets
it's
stuck.
it's basically a wrench, and he like just takes
Space
the
wrench.
end off of it and just turns it around. But what the fuck? I loved it. It's so stupid. I love that so much. Um, God, I can't believe they did my girl dirty. But they
Yeah,
started doing my girl dirty early on. They started taking our stuff and like kind of breaking it apart a little bit more than
Mhm.
should have been.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have that many bad ideas and be a perfect, brilliant person before you're like, I guess I'm outie.
Yeah. She has to be released from her contract. Fred Freiberger said that she just went to Hawaii.
Oh, God, slay.
And then Dorothy Fontana was like, no, I asked to be released from my contract. And then Bob Justman, who was the supervising producer, was like, no, Dorothy Fontana always turned in her assignments on time and really great. So, and all of that is from These Are the Voyages season 3 by Mark Cushman and Susan Osborne.
Wait, so she did ask to be released,
Yeah.
went to Hawaii and was like, "See ya, suckers."
Probably followed the rules and was just like, I need a break. This was disappointing. Probably went to Hawaii.
Yeah,
And then the assignment was given, the finishing assignment was given to John Meredith Lucas, and then
yeah,
Dorothy Fontana asked to be credited as Michael Richards because
incredible.
she was embarrassed. Uh, Both the name of her brothers.
No, that's fun. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, it definitely lowers it in my esteem.
Mm-hmm.
It's messy, it's weird. Um,
It
there are
is messy.
ideas there are ideas that could be explored and aren't. Um, it does feel like just like something dying. What?
What does it mean to love a franchise? What does it mean to love these franchises?
Uh-oh, Kenny, you having a moment?
Well, because
Yeah?
I love I love Star Trek unconditionally.
Sure.
We'll be watching it forever.
Yeah,
Every single new entry, I'll check it
forever.
out unless it just gets so dire and so feeling so cynical that I just check it.
Okay.
Star Wars kind of go up and down with. A lot of the new stuff I haven't seen. But Andor, I'll be right there. And then I'll go see Mandalorian in theaters because I want to see a Star Wars movie on the big screen.
A Star War.
Yeah.
What does it mean to love a franchise? Um,
And I mean, I don't want to just go into the next segment on a bummer, but instead just trying to bring
no.
it to a little bit more of a philosophical notion.
Oh,
Because for me, what is interesting and the commonality that I haven't encountered so far in this podcast, where we're almost at 100 episodes, is that both of these were like straight up bombers.
to
These
you.
to me, yeah, art is subjective for sure.
Uh-huh.
Um, for the Star Trek episode, I was incredibly bored,
Mhm.
and for the Star Wars episode, I was just like it felt like Ewoks days.
Oh, wow. God, that's
Yeah,
wild.
man.
Um, yeah, I certainly don't think it means having to like everything that is put out by any
Mhm.
means. I also don't think it means I mean, obviously there's the core of the like, and you also get to criticize the thing you love. Like there's no rules on loving something, right?
Yeah.
Um, if it still brings you joy and it's part of this thing that you love, then you love it. And that's the end of it. And if you watch something and you don't like it, and then that's fine. I guess my presumption with you is like if it started going off in a direction that was like bad, bad, not like maybe like quality bad might be one thing. If it's like, well, I'd still have these pieces, but if like the thing like Harry Potter is a really great example of like
Oh
I
yeah.
I I literally could have told you every single thing about Harry Potter. And it literally was the franchise was so destroyed for me, like so fundamentally irrevocably destroyed for me by Joanne, Turf Joanne. Like
Yeah.
that it was actually hard for me to even like engage with it at all, even if there was like no exchange of money kind of thing, right? Because it just hurt so badly. So I think if if Star Wars were to ever get to that point, I'd have to have the same letting go experience probably, and it would kill me.
Mhm.
But also, it's just there's things that I love. Um, I just
Really?
there's just things that I love. Nope, don't do it. Not yet. Not yet.
A long time ago, start date this week. I courted a beau, I dated a geek, but none warp my drive into hyperspace. The best of both worlds kept me in second place. Captain's log on a holocron. I wanted a snog. I penned a song. 17 more minutes of thighs in super high def. Aboard the USS Enterprise, DTF. Don't you take my Ewok glider and clip it. Don't you take my red shirt buddy and nip it. If you spill the tea, I'm gonna sip it. I starship it.
I can't believe you did that to me.
Yeah, it's pretty rude, actually.
But for what it's worth, all I was really going to do is just keep talking about things I liked about the Star Wars episode to try to offset it.
Sure.
No, it's fine. We'll discover it through our favorite game.
Well,
I
I
starship
have a
it.
sneaky suspicion that you could talk about it, here in this segment, and then also in the final rankings.
But it was probably good to cut me off before I start talking about Lord of the Rings. So that's not what this show is.
No, this week it's all about
Sexy Gungan.
Sure is, dude. Sure is. So yeah, we'll name our favorite ships that fly through the sky / vehicles that you can ride. Vroom vroom. And our favorite little kissy ships. Yeah. I have a few. So I have some laying in wait in case you steal them from me.
Excellent. I will steal the first one, the biohazard ship.
Yeah, the Naboo police ship, the yellow one.
The Naboo police ship, which is such a wild design and seems wildly impractical. And confirmed that it was wildly impractical in the Filoni zoning.
Yep.
Whenever they were like, "Well, this was a design. This was a design that was made for episode 1, but we used it here, and then they had to figure out where the landing gears and like how they would get off the ship."
Yep.
All of that is very fascinating. I love starship design. I think I would look at the Art of Episode 1 book that came in my little widescreen collector's edition VHS all the time, even though it was like 30, 40 pages, if that. And I would just keep flipping through them. They were so cool.
Anyways. It's a cool ship. That was going to be mine if I had gone first or you didn't say it. I kept desperately trying to look for what it was called, and then it came up on the Filoni Zoni, and I went, "Oh, okay."
Sick.
Fabulous. It's yellow. Kind of looks like a bug. It's ridiculous.
It's wild.
I like that they're in hazmat suits too.
I do, and also we got bomb squad droids or bomb squad clones.
Yeah, they're they have orange on them. Here's the thing. You can tell, and they confirm this also in the Filoni Zoni, the art and the capability is getting better and better.
Yeah.
It's they even talk about the ability now to do curly hair and what that means for design and being able to add different character designs. Now, what we don't want them to do is pull a prequels and overload it just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Sometimes that lack of capability can sometimes lead to creative things okay, well, if I can't add a new character, what can I do with the characters that are here, right? Because it's a lack of art capability.
Mm-hmm.
And the more they build it, the more because they're talking about how they could introduce 7 new characters, right? So we don't want to overwhelm it.
Yes.
And they're a little on the edge here, but I do think it's clearly a joy that they can start to have these different types of clone troopers that are the bomb squad, that they could have this little rabbit droid, that they could have another Gungan, a sexy
We've
Gungan.
definitely seen the rabbit droid before because I remember it holding a little hologram with its little rabbit ears.
Oh,
I can't recall where it was. Why do I want to say it was in the movie and it was holding a hologram for Zero the Hutt? I could definitely be making.
Oh, maybe
because my memory is bad.
Well, mine is too, but also because I've seen Clone Wars, I can't remember sometimes if it's because I've seen it already later or where. So, but I love that little rabbit droid so much.
Do you know?
I do.
Well, is that your ship of the week?
No, let me. You cut me off, so I have to tell you the things I like about this episode.
Sure.
I like the art stuff. That's all. My ship is. Actually, I wrote down a couple. And I think we might have done them before. Like, I think the tick cow is actually I did that for, Attack of the Clones maybe.
Let's check it out. Let's go to the board. Tick cow, tick cow, tick
Because I
cow.
would have called it that. They have real names.
Tick cow, tick cow.
You're definitely done a Naboo starfighter.
2. Yours was Dooku Solar Sail.
Oh, I fucking love that solar sail. Because it's either between that, which is me being cheeky, because I love those tick cows and I
Mhm.
love that we ride them, or the act of being folded like a piece of paper through space. We'll give it to Star Trek. We'll give it the act of being folded like a piece of paper through space as my
Being
ship.
folded through space. It's it's such a great, wild effect that every single time it was on screen, I was like, I am not displeased by watching this again.
Yeah, I kind of did a little yelp.
It's so
It's like, oh,
interesting, and I'm just thinking about how they did that,
uh huh,
and then thinking about the Tholian web animation having to do that frame by frame by frame. So
incredible,
fascinating.
beautiful, like truly
Beautiful.
beautiful stuff.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
making this stuff is so hard, and you just have to they just had to like be extremely creative because After Effects didn't exist back then.
yeah,
It's so easy to do that kind of effect now. Back then they would have to specifically shoot her on probably a blue screen, cut that out, which means that you had to optically remove the blue, place that on a thing, then draw an outline over it, then shift the perspective somehow, and then shrink the line, which is going to require frame by frame animation. So hard. That's so hard for a thing that lasts like 3 seconds.
right. Yeah, it's wild. So,
And that's why that's Aspen's ship of the week.
and that's why that's my ship of the week. What's your romantic ship?
Dr. Vindy and the rabbit droid.
Oh, okay, okay. Then you didn't take mine. Woohoo.
Yeah. Because Dr. Vindy entrusts the bomb to Rabbit Droid, and Rabbit Droid takes that bomb and hides with his little tummy because he's got a little tummy,
Got a little tummy.
and he's hiding it, or she, or
Who
they.
knows? Who knows? What is gender?
The three
The
genders
three genders.
are boss, girl boss,
Sport.
and sport. Great.
And little and little bunny tummy.
Boy boss. I'm a
Boy,
boy boss.
a boy boss, a girl boss, a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boy boss slay.
boy boss slay.
But that Dr. Vindy, because he's extremely expressive person.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, and you know that Rabbit Droid is fully functional in multiple techniques. And probably using you don't like this. You
I
don't
don't
like
like
this.
this at all.
You don't like this. It's totally consensual, and you know that Rabbit Droid loves Dr. Vindy.
You don't like it.
I think he does. I think he does. I think Rabbit Droid loves Dr. Vindy.
I'm sure he does. He like
Calm down, Aspen. Good Lord.
it's horny. Happy horny month. Jesus. Oh boy.
What's your ship?
Um. Okay. Well, just give me a second. I do have one, but I'm gonna see if there's anything better in Star Trek. Um. I'm gonna go Dr. Vendy and his blue shadow virus. It's purely it's not it's a I gotta tell you, his obsession
He
and
loves that virus.
his obsession with this
He
virus
loves it. It's a perfect organism,
is
much like the
erotic.
alien from the movie Alien.
Yeah, exactly. Like he has a true love for it. The fact that he has brought it back to life because he is creating life. He is like, "Mm." Not only has he brought it back, but he has also transmuted its properties. And now it has gone from waterborne to airborne. He loves it. He
He
literally
gives
says,
every little bacteria just a little kiss.
But he even says this thing that has, like it has such, like, strong, like, toxic relationship, like, great fanfic vibes where he's just like,
Toxic.
"Toxic." It's now we are all going to die, and it has a real, like that, like, terrible relationship where you're like, "Well, like, what if we all died together?" Like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, boss.
On purpose.
Yeah, boss.
It's it's a lot. It's a
Mhm.
lot. Also, I fucking loved that dude. He's absurd, Kenny. He's absurd, and it
That's great. It's
worked
a great
for me.
performance.
I
It's just a
loved
lot.
it. I
It's a lot in
loved
an
it.
episode that already has a lot, and I just got tired.
Sensorily overloaded?
I got
Like
sensorily overloaded.
C-3PO at the beginning, who when they're, like, trying to, like, question that droid, and they're, like, opening up his droid head with, like, a bone saw, but it's a droid saw, and C-3PO basically reacts to it as if it were, like, like, if it were a human dead body and is like, "I can't handle this. Can I, like, turn myself off?" And Padme's like, "No, I need you." And I was just like, "Uh-oh, here we are again with the, like, complicated droid, droid rights shit."
Aspen, if I ever get my skull
Uh-huh,
sawed open, I want you to
uh-huh.
be there so you can talk to the doctor for me.
Okay. So I can be like, "I'm sorry, I'm getting overloaded sensorily, so I gotta go."
I, I, he's, don't worry about it. He always talks about Magic Mike XXL this much. It's just, it's not a part of the brain that you're touching.
No, sorry.
He is
Oh,
just, he must
oh,
have seen it in like another TV or something.
right. Oh god, that's just his segue thing he likes to do, don't worry about it.
Well, speaking of segues, art is a binary, Aspen.
Okay. Is it?
It is, absolutely. I know that earlier
Tell
I
me
was talking
more.
about how art is subjective, and I truly do want to preserve the fact that the fundamental notion that I think that art is subjective, and you're allowed to love these episodes. But no, I'm lying. Art is objective. There's a good and there's a bad. There is nothing in between. And so too can there only be one winner for this week as we rank that which survives from Star Trek, the original series, season 3, versus Blue Shadow Virus from Star Wars: The Clone Wars season 1. I think we should start with Blue Shadow Virus. Aspen, what are you going to give this?
Interesting. Um, 6.3.
6.3.
Uh-huh.
I did cut you off with the segue to I Starship It. Do you have anything to say about this episode?
Thank you so much for asking me.
I want to give you the
Um,
space as an ally.
right, yes, you wanna lift up non-cis men's
Mhm.
voices. Um there's a lot of things happening in the episode, and the stakes are extremely high. There's a lot that is visually compelling, in a way that I think is very interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on, and on reflection, maybe a little too many things, but it's pretty action packed. I think the threat is truly a threat. Um, it it, like, maybe skews toward Goofy having both Jar Jar and this wild doctor. But I think here's something I do wanna just point out, that the Anakin Padme anytime there's, like, an opportunity to sort of see the Anakin Padme relationship is and, like, what kind of things are going on there, I think is interesting.
Yes.
Like, he literally lets this doctor go so he can save Padme.
Wild.
He just does. And that is so truly contrary. Like, if Obi-Wan had been there, he'd been like, "What the fuck did you just do?" And it almost, like, takes it beyond the idea of non-attachment. Like, he literally was like, obviously they got the guy, but, like, he took a risk in by literally being like, "I could sacrifice everyone for this person." And I think moments like that are what actually build up to an interesting Darth Vader story.
Mhm.
And he loves her desperately, and that's not always a good thing, right? Like, love is so desperate, and you can see it in moments like this, and you can see it when he gets, like, controlling in other moments and, like, too fearful or he just truly is so adoring, these little moments, and I just think that dynamic is really fascinating. That I think is worth noting. I think it's worth noting, like, Ahsoka's capability growing. That's cool character work.
Yeah, she's doing lots of jumping and chopping.
Yeah, the jumping and chopping was, like, wildly dynamic. It was, like, the action was so much. Like I was actively like holding my head. Like I was just like, yeah, yeah. But you're right. I mean, it's not a great episode. I don't think it's a bad episode. So thus I'm sticking it in the 6.3 range.
Groovy. I'm going to give this episode a 3.5.
Okay.
And even then, it still feels kind of high. I mean, there are some good aspects to this episode, specifically the Anakin and Padme stuff, but like, I feel like Anakin and Obi-Wan being there robs the possibility of showing Padme solving an adventure.
It's true.
And then what is there is wrecked by shrill comedy. It is so atonal. It is so rough to watch. This episode is just a lot, and I enjoy maximalism, but not like this. And then even then, I felt like the action was perfunctory and not really motivated by any information that we know about these characters, and it wasn't really based on character relationships. It was just jeopardy because we have to have some jeopardy. I would not be surprised if George Lucas was like, I want to do a virus episode. But they didn't talk about that in the Filoni zoning.
They didn't talk about if it was George, but they did talk about that it did have origins in other like extended universe stuff and in comic books that it had been done.
Yeah.
And that kind of thinking, how could this be done? So there's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Blue Shadow Virus.
Okay. All right.
What do you give That Which Survives, Aspen?
Again, it's just like neither good nor bad. To me, that's a pretty like solid 5.
All right. Anything else to say about That Which Survives?
I think I talked about it a lot. I'm a little I remain slightly bewildered by my like gentle fondness for it, which is why it's not getting any lower than that, despite it like but you know what? Now that I'm remembering the DC Fontana stuff, that actually leads me to a slight spite ranking, but I'm gonna keep it at 5 because I don't want to make it.
You sure?
Yeah. I love her so much. But I can't let Star Trek be the only thing I
Come
ever spite
on.
rank. No, I've not
on.
spite ranks Star
Come
Wars.
on.
So I feel
Spite
like
rank it.
I need to be fair.
No, this would be fair. Come
Okay,
on.
we'll drop it to 4.5
Yeah.
for her. For her. That bums me out so much.
I'm going to rank this 0.2.
Jesus Christ. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact that there is brown face in it.
There is total brown face. It makes no sense. It makes no sense because it's definitely a choice where they're like, let's be multicultural. And so they have Lieutenant Rada.
Then why not put an actual Indian woman in there?
Why not put an actual Indian person there? Why?
I don't understand. I genuinely, because, I'm watching it in like high def shit. I'm like, what did they do to her face?
Yeah.
Like because it almost looks like if you were to see someone who was like in a black and white old movie, like what their makeup would look like for it to look right on screen. Like like the way the shadows are, I was like, what the fuck is wrong? And then I was like, I was like, she has a giant pimple. And then I realized she's Indian. And I was like, you motherfuckers. I looked up the actress and she's Jewish and like, but like white.
And then not only that, but has also been in brownface in another Star Trek episode, The Paradise Syndrome.
Oh my God. I might also bring it down to like, because that actually felt really bad. That might bring it down to a 4. There's a lot going against it, but
I'll say that you put it as a 4.
Okay, fine. I had forgotten about that. I literally went, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, it is so bizarre because they're clearly doing it because Enterprise is Starship Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why? No one noticed. No one.
Right. No one? Like no one thought about it?
No one thought about it?
Right.
If you want to do that, there couldn't have been one actress of Indian descent that could have been on the set.
Can you fucking imagine?
Can you imagine
that they are in Los Angeles, California,
the city of dreams?
The city of dreams. This is one role, one single role, and there are No South Asian women anywhere?
None. Not one. Not one.
Uh, fuck me, you know?
Yeah.
That is wild.
Abysmal.
I forgot about that.
Abysmal. And then also this episode's mid as hell.
So, okay,
But
it's mid,
primarily
which
I'm ranking it 0.2
yeah.
because the racism.
Okay. Yeah. It's mid, but then it's dropped down for the racism and the way that it hurt my girl.
Which means I mean, I'm doing a lot of bitter rankings. Well, I got a spite ranking for Star Trek and a bitter ranking for Blue Shadow Virus, which means for Star Trek's 2.1 versus Star Wars Blue Shadow Virus with a robust 4.9, Aspen,
Yeah.
sit high in that chair because
I feel
Star
great.
Wars wins the week.
Thank you. This chair does go up. I could adjust it.
And if you want to see Aspen raise their chair, you could go over to youtube.com/@TrekWarsPod, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and see Aspen raise that chair.
Oh God. Oh God. Wait, I have to go back down. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Okay. All right.
Additionally, if you want to hear our early shenanigans and extended shenanigans, hop over to our Patreon, patreon.com/@TrekWarsPod, where for $5 a month, you can get early versions of these episodes and extended versions of these episodes. And for just $1 a month, we'll just read your name on air. We got 50 slots open for that, and we would love that. And you too could join the auspices of fine folks such as Timbo DeSosa, Heidi Rogers, Kevin Miller, Arizona Mark, Austin Aaron, and lastly, but certainly not leastly, Joel T. Partner, who composed our I Starship It theme song. Our theme song was written by Mr. Tosin Awofeso. You can listen to more of his music in the link in the show notes below. You can also find us on social media, search Instagram.com or Blue Sky. We have profiles there. And then also, if you want to send us an email, trekwarspod@gmail.com. And, while we're plugging things, leave us a review. We would just love to see it. Let's be frank. We would love to see it for our ego.
Yeah. Oh God. Then that means you have to be nice. Oh yikes. So yeah, that'd be nice though.
Yeah. Aspen, I
Yeah.
love you dearly. Thank you
You
for doing this podcast with me.
you do. You still like me?
I love you.
You love me? I love you.
Yeah, man.
I'm not actually mad at you.
I'm not mad at you. And audience, we're not mad at you either. We love you very much. Thank you so much for listening. May the force be with you. And live long and prosper.
Sexy Gungan.